The man won the lottery jackpot. But when he went to claim it, the shop owner said the numbers had been tampered with. Before the man could explain, the owner tried to throw him out. Angered, the man pulled a gun from his pocket and told him to double-check the ticket. Just as the situation escalated, another man calmly stepped forward. He said he was willing to buy the ticket for $200. The man felt Jack shouldn't interfere, so he took him outside to talk privately. But Jack thought the man simply wanted more money. He pulled $200 from his wallet and exchanged it for the ticket. He told him to turn his life around and stop running around with a gun. That comment made the man laugh. He cut Jack off and asked if something was missing from his life. Jack said he didn't lack anything. He said good fortune came from hard work and effort. But the next morning when Jack woke up, everything had changed. He found himself in a small apartment from 13 years ago. The woman beside him had become his old girlfriend from that time, and she had 2 children with him. Jack was completely confused. He couldn't accept what he saw and rushed out in panic. He tried to go to work to prove it was all a dream, but when he got outside, his Ferrari was gone. He quickly borrowed a car from Kate's parents and drove to his company. The receptionist didn't recognize him. The general manager position now had the other man's name on the door. Jack was completely stunned. When he walked out of the building, a Ferrari suddenly stopped in front of him. The driver was the same man from the convenience store. The man told Jack this was a parallel world. He said Jack could find what he truly lacked here. As for whether he could go back, it depended on himself. Jack slowly began to realize something. Back then, he had given up his loving girlfriend to become a billionaire. He had left for London to pursue his studies. Kate had never cared about wealth or luxury. She just wanted to stay with him and enjoy a simple, happy life. But no matter how she tried to convince him, Jack had already made up his mind. Before leaving, he told her that 1 year wouldn't change their love, and neither would 100 years. But 13 years later, Jack had become a Wall Street investment broker. He was earning 9 figures a year and was surrounded by beautiful women. He looked like a perfect success story. Meanwhile, Kate had waited for him at home for 13 years. When Jack reunited with her in this strange way, guilt quietly rose inside him. He unconsciously returned to their home. Kate was anxiously calling around, searching for him all day. Jack looked at the woman in front of him, both familiar and unfamiliar, and felt the urge to stay. But that feeling quickly faded. Kate told him it was Christmas and that they were going to a party later. She told him to change into something nice. But when he opened the closet, the clothes inside looked cheap and poorly made. There was no luxury wardrobe in this world, only inexpensive, ordinary clothing. Even their house still had 28 years of mortgage left. The only comfort was that Jack here ran a tire shop and was at least a small business owner. But as he sat in his office, the bills overwhelmed him. At that moment, he only wanted to return to his original world, but the man never appeared again. Without understanding how Jack lived in this world for a full month, one day, he went shopping with his family and walked into a suit store. He put on a suit and looked at himself in the mirror. For a moment, he felt like the powerful Wall Street man he used to be. Kate couldn't help but say she had never seen him look so handsome. But when she saw the $2,400 price tag, it felt like a bucket of cold water. It was 2 months of family expenses. There was no way they could afford it. Quickly told him to take it off, but Jack's long-suppressed emotions exploded. It was the first argument he had with Kate in this world. Frustrated, Jack went to a bowling alley to let off steam. There, he noticed a woman flirting with him. It seemed like this world's Jack had left behind some romantic mess. That night, Jack returned home, and Kate didn't blame him. The next morning, Jack heated milk in the microwave. He didn't notice Kate suddenly standing up. Later in the bedroom, Kate handed him a gift box. Inside was the $2,400 suit from the store. She had pretended not to want it, just to surprise him. Jack was deeply moved. For the first time, he hesitated about returning to his original world. It was their wedding anniversary that day, but Jack had completely forgotten. Seeing Kate's disappointment, he felt terrible. Luckily, his daughter gave him an idea. He took Kate to a high-end restaurant he had always wanted to visit but never could afford. With heartfelt words, they reconciled. Jack and Kate danced together to soft music. At that moment, Jack realized his love for her had never disappeared. He slowly found a sense of belonging in this life. He watched videos of his marriage proposal over and over again. At first, he felt embarrassed by the youthful memories. But later, he watched them with deep emotion, as if he could feel that happiness again. Until one day, Jack unexpectedly ran into his former boss. He realized an opportunity had finally arrived. His years of experience allowed him to understand the boss perfectly. Combined with his financial expertise, he quickly impressed him. The boss even offered him a job in a house in downtown New York. Jack happily accepted, without hesitation. That night, he rushed to show Kate their new home. But Kate wasn't as excited as he expected. She said she didn't want to change their current life. She felt what they already had was enough. Jack looked at her in disbelief. To him, it was impossible to understand. But Kate said, "Don't take Annie out of the school she loved. Don't make us leave this home. We are already a family. The life we have now is already something others would envy." Jack returned home frustrated and found a plane ticket. In this parallel world, he had given up his internship in London. Kate told him she would respect his choice. If he insisted on taking the job, she would go with him and the children. Standing again at the crossroads of career and family, Jack fell into deep thought. The next morning, Kate woke up and saw Jack playing in the snow with their daughter. She knew he had already made his decision. Jack didn't realize that he no longer cared about stock prices, but he remembered the price of a bag of salt clearly. The man who brought him here was now working as a cashier. When Jack saw him, he panicked. The man told him he had finally become a good person, but the experience was only temporary. He still had to return to his original life. Jack reluctantly went home. He gently touched his sleeping son. He kissed his daughter on the forehead. Then he stood by Kate's bed and asked her to remember him, to remember who he was at that moment. That night, Jack sat quietly on the sofa. He forced himself to stay awake, afraid to lose everything the moment he closed his eyes. But eventually sleep took over. When he opened his eyes again, everything had returned to the beginning. He quickly got dressed and ran toward the home that once felt warm. But things were no longer the same. Kate was no longer the one who opened the door. Jack didn't give up. Using his connections, he quickly found her address. When he arrived, he saw she was moving out. She was leaving to become a company manager in Paris. In this world, she was no longer a gentle housewife, but fortunately, she had not remarried. She handed him a box containing things he had left behind 13 years ago. She had kept them all this time. Jack asked her if she ever thought about him, but she avoided the question. Jack returned home in disappointment and stared at the old belongings. His mind was filled with memories of her. He knew she had stayed single for all these years, which meant she still cared. So he decided to try again. He rushed to the airport to stop her from leaving. Kate was already going through security. He begged her not to board the plane. She said she had already moved on from heartbreak and told him to do the same. Jack described everything he had experienced: their home in Jersey, their 2 children, her life as a non-profit lawyer, and their 13 years together. He said it might have been a dream, but it felt more real than anything else. He said he chose us and only asked for a cup of coffee's time. Hearing this, Kate gave up her flight. This time, they held on to each other and didn't let go again. Through this experience, Jack finally understood what truly mattered. We spend our lives chasing wealth, status, and success, thinking they define happiness. But only when fate resets everything do we realize the truth. Life was never about how much we owned. It was about what we chose to cherish. The ordinary moments we once ignored became the warmest parts of life. A morning hug, a child's laughter, and a partner's waiting heart. No mansion or luxury car could bring peace. No fame could replace a simple welcome home. We spent our lives rushing forward and forgot why we started. We kept chasing more and lost the present we already had. There are no what-ifs in life, only consequences. Don't wait until lost to understand love. Don't wait until everything fades to miss the ordinary days. True happiness was never far away. It had always been in the everyday life shared with the one you love.